complex stuff behind it, but in simple terms, it delays the menstruation of the mother from coming back as early as a mother who didn't breastfeed.
So can you say it is a family planning,
yes,
a short-term family planning method?
Yes, when when breastfed constant, yes, it is.
Okay.
So we always encourage mothers because it really helps with family planning, and I talked about the bleeding, and then to the baby. Remember, first of all, breast milk is always ready. Like you don't need to first go boil it on fire, then come cool it, give it to the baby. No, you just maybe clean the nipple if your body is dirty, and give the baby. And it also helps. It is easily broken down into the body. Let me say this formula milk of ours has a lot of complex proteins, substances that may be so hard for the baby's stomach to digest it, since the baby is just a newborn. Yes, so maybe my colleague. So
Grace, you want to supplement on that?
Yeah, I can say that in addition to what she has said, breastfeeding to the mother, it also helps to foster bonding between the mother and the child. So that keeps a long-term relationship between the mother and then the baby.
So mothers should now stop this thing of this child doesn't like me. Did you breastfeed them? Now we see this is one of the reasons the bond comes. Anyway, Grace, still in the same. Are there any specific challenges that mothers face while breastfeeding? Probably this could be the reason why very many mothers, especially in this generation, don't want to breastfeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, challenges do exist.
Okay.
Yeah. So. For example, our mothers who are working, they have issues with now putting breastfeeding and then work. But I'm happy that the government of Uganda has put some strategies, some policies to support them in that. And one of them includes a maternity leave. For 6 months. However, this has not been strengthened well in the private sector. So find someone is worried between losing a job and staying home to breastfeed their children.
Do you realize that even when some mothers are given the 3 months, the 92 days leave, they'll come back in the second month because they are not sure what is happening at the place of work?
So if the law or the policies are strengthened, then we can overcome that.
Okay.
Then other issues or other challenges, we have nutrition. Actually nutrition, you see some parts in Uganda, even I can say in the central, but there are people living in slums, so usually they have a hard access to food, so they suffer from malnutrition. And in order for a mother to have enough production of breast milk, they must have fed well. So I think we need to address hunger in some parts of the country. Then, and also the other problem is the economy. You see some people are living in town, but most people are having one meal. And then we want this mother to feed well. We want also to breastfeed the baby oftenly. But you find it hard because somebody will not be eating enough just because they don't have money, because in town most times food is just bought. So that becomes a problem, and that means that even if somebody is given leave, they will not respect it because they want money.
So they love to come back. Well, Bridget, there is something we hear ladies say, especially the Gen Zs and the millennials. They say one of the reasons they want to breastfeed is because when you breastfeed, then your breast falls and for the lack of a better word. Is that true?
Okay, that is a very good question. Actually, if we look at how the breast is made, you see, people have different shapes of the breast. Even before they get pregnant, there are those ones that are already standing, those ones that are already assuming the falling position. Yes, no, let's be realistic here.
Yes.
So it shouldn't always be blamed on breastfeeding as a reason as to why the breasts are falling, because what holds the breast in a standing position, we have let me say a tissue or a structure inside the breast that holds it in that standing position. So someone who already had that falling shape of a breast before even pregnancy, before giving birth, like chances are high that, you know, they are, even after finishing to breastfeed, their breast is going to still assume the falling position. So it would not always like be blamed on breastfeeding. Yes.
Okay, that is that is interesting. I mean, that has been a very big concern out there. Very many women don't want. But still talking about breastfeeding, we talked about the benefits of breastfeeding for the mother and for the child probably. But how often should a newborn baby be breastfed?
Let's first look at. I want to first add a little on what
on the challenges.
Yes,
okay.
On what he spoke from a man's point of view. You know, when you're a man, you of course you're not going to, you know, experience it. But when you're a lady,
but
you really see when you have the breast.
We also see.
You see, but seeing is different from having the experience.
Okay.
So most of the challenges, I think mothers who come to the hospital face is like painful breast, in simple terms. Like the breasts get overfilled, like so painful, so they do not want even the baby to touch the breast because it is so painful. That is one of the main challenges breastfeeding mothers face. And then also, especially for newborn mothers, like those ones who are having their babies for the first time, positioning the baby. You know, maybe a mother is 14 years, 12 years, you get. So to put the baby in that right position to breastfeed is also a very big challenge that mothers do face. Then to the question, the last question you asked me, how often should a baby be breastfed?
Yeah, maybe let me intercept a bit. Yeah, most of the challenges actually can be addressed, because there are many, and every mother may report with their own one.
Okay.
Yeah, so
we can never exhaust them because everyone will always present with a different.
Yeah, however, most of them can be addressed.
Okay.
So what we do, personally, I encourage the breastfeeding mothers, and actually the expectant mothers who are like those who are just having their first babies. Yeah, they should always look out from the health workers. Yeah, for tips about breastfeeding. Yeah, I believe by this we can make it a better one.
Okay. Bridget, back to you about how often a baby should be breastfed.
Of course, I would have said as often as a baby wants to take, but of course, you know, babies vary. Some would maybe have like a higher appetite for eating. For them, they just want to, you know, keep breastfeeding, suckling, and of course,
they say most of the boys are like that. I don't know.
It burns the mothers out. You get like imagine it's like someone trying, you know, to scratch on your skin every time. You know, you get the bruises and everything. But then mothers are encouraged at least every 2 to 3 hours. Like you should, you know, even if your baby is sleeping, let them breastfeed. That is around like 8 to 12 times in a cycle of 24 hours. Because remember, this baby has a small stomach, so like has to be taking like frequent small, you know, milk inside the stomach.
What about now? That is what about the time? For example, if I'm calculating it in minutes or hours, how long should the baby stay on this breast?
How long should the baby stay on this breast?
Because the mother might say, maybe I'm breastfeeding my baby for only 30 minutes, and then after that, that's gone, or 20 minutes, or 5 minutes, or...
Okay. So how long should the baby stay on this breast? Let me now give you You see how breast milk is? There is what we call, there is that part of the front breast milk, then the middle, and then the back. So what we always encourage mothers, these babies, by the babies are born, they are wise. When they are full, they know, they let go of the, they let go of the breast. But once a baby is still breastfeeding and then you pull it out, you feel the baby is, still clutching onto the nipple, meaning the baby is still hungry. Yes.
Yeah, in the short time, like in summary, there may not be an exact time.
Yeah,
but
so it's about the baby.
But provided the baby is okay with what has sucked, so far it's fine.
How about these stubborn babies who will always keep it there even when they're not sucking? They don't want to leave the nipple. Well, let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to start from there. Please stick with us. Welcome back from the commercial break. This is Family Hour. We are looking at breastfeeding, and as mothers, do they need any support? Or as long as you have your breast and you have your baby, that is all? I mean, we want to see how we can support, because this year's theme for the breastfeeding week is closing the gap, breastfeeding support for all. And before the break we had a very interesting conversation, and we have people like my producer who claim that they never breastfed. So we've now started to realize why they do certain things, maybe. But here we are, and before the break, actually, Bridget, you are taking us through the intervals through which the babies should be breastfed, and at least a mother now knows that 12 times. What about a baby who each time they cry, the mother takes them to the breast? Don't you think the interval exceeds now the 12 times?
Okay, of course, mothers always tend to use breast milk or breastfeeding as a mechanism of, just letting the baby stop crying. But they should also know, like, babies cry for other reasons. The baby could be maybe sick, could be feeling hot, uncomfortable, cold. Something can be irritating the baby. So when you put the baby, attach the baby to breastfeed, and the baby just doesn't, of course, when the baby is full, it's not going, try sucking. So there, like, there's something else that is making the baby uncomfortable, not necessarily hunger. And some mothers who've like had many children, they know, they'll be like, if the baby cries in a certain way, it's hungry. When the baby cries in a certain way, wants to sleep.
Now
yeah, so I think it comes with experience, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Grace, talking about breastfeeding, are there specific food substances that breastfeeding mothers should avoid and not supposed to eat?
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah, there are some foods that we actually not recommend.
Okay.
Yeah, because they would be of a disadvantage to either the mother or the baby, or both. Yeah.
What are some of these foods?
Yeah, for example, we do not encourage, I don't know whether alcohol is food. Yeah, but
you know?
but it's one of them.
The substance.
Alcohol is a substance that we don't really recommend to breastfeeding mothers. Yeah, because it actually it endangers the baby's cognitive development. Yeah, the baby will grow up, but the brain development is affected. Yeah, then
does it mean that this alcohol mixes with the breast milk and then the baby takes both alcohol and milk?
Yeah.
So the baby can get drunk.
So alcohol can get into the milk. Yeah, so usually they say that the mothers can take, yeah, but a little quantity, like actually they say half a liter.
In Uganda there is nothing like a little quantity. So someone says, let me take only this one and I'll go home. Before you know they have slept in. But I think the best thing is
so the best thing is
to
like fully abstain from the alcohol. Yeah, then even foods containing caffeine.
Okay.
Yeah, any food that contains caffeine, even coffee. Yeah, coffee, the chocolates, some spices. Yeah, we would not recommend. Then we have some fish that contains higher levels of mercury. Yeah, fish is very nice for the brain development of these babies. Yeah, however, there are some kinds or some types of fish that have higher levels of mercury, so we really do not recommend. But for example, we have shark, but most of them are not common here in Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of them are coastal. Okay, so we are safe. Mothers can eat the angege and imputa.
Yeah, maybe there are some foods that they eat and maybe feel pain within their stomach. For example, some report pain on potatoes even when they don't have ulcers. Yeah, then some it can be cassava. Yeah, so if the mother also eats some food and then they feel uncomfortable with it, then they should stop it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to add more?
Just on what Grace has said. Some, I don't know if medicines are also taken to be food, but of course.
But I think we can as well talk about them here.
Yes.
At this level.
So certain medicines are not supposed to be, before you take a certain drug, you have to first consult with your healthcare provider. Yes, because certain drugs are not good for the baby. And of course, you wouldn't want to affect your child. They say mothers have the best love. I don't know what fathers do, but
yeah.
So I wouldn't think there is a mother who would want to endanger their child, Yes, so before always, that's why.
These days, mothers are funny. I was reading a story. Some mother gave birth to a baby and went and dropped the baby at a police station in Mitiana
today.
So is that still love?
No, it could be, there could be circumstances around her dropping the baby. You get, for example, imagine the mother was
you die for what you love, as long as you have that love.
But
sometimes life just hits you so hard before you realize it. It has already happened.
Meanwhile, a mother should remain a mother to their baby.
Because you're men, you don't know how it feels like to be a mother.
Well, is that what you're supplementing?
Yes.
Okay, still talking about this. Maybe the other thing that we would like to talk about is how long should a mother breastfeed? I mean, for how long? Because we know the 6 months have not yet been approved. It is still in negotiation and discussion. The government and private sector and civil society organizations. But at least we know that our constitution talks about the 92 days. Those are 3 months. And by 3 months, you're supposed to get back to work. So does it mean that by the end of the 3 months, you're done with breastfeeding, you come to work fresh, no more breastfeeding?
Wow, that is such a blow. Okay, that was a very good question. According to the Uganda clinical guidelines, maternal and newborn care and the World Health Organization, it says a mother who has given birth should breastfeed the baby exclusively for 6 months. By exclusively, it means you're breastfeeding your baby at least every 2 to 3 hours every day for 6 months without anything. No water, no tea, no any other milk. That is the ideal. Then when the baby reaches 6 months...
Before we get to the 6 months, I mean, some babies have their appetite really very high. How sure are they that breast milk alone can satisfy these babies for the 6 months?
Some babies have a high appetite. You see, there's wanting something and then there's needing something. In this case, the baby wants to feed a lot, but we need the baby to have what is required for it, which is the breast milk before the baby, reaches 6 months. We don't encourage mothers to, provide tea, formula milk, cow's milk, or anything. For the first 6 months, then when the baby reaches 6 months... I think
this is the most violated principle.
You can now introduce in, the soft foods.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the soft foods?
It could, you could start with, light porridge, mashed Irish potatoes. Of course, I wouldn't expect a mother to, start to command on the baby.
You give your mwana muogo and then...
Oh, God.
You ask Jonah, does babies survive?
Sometimes I think it's good. Good for us all.
Okay.
Yes.
Still about exclusive breastfeeding. We've seen very many formulas on market. And there are formulas, especially in hospitals. I mean, surprising that even in hospitals, people say, this works exactly like breast milk. Is that really a thing? Does it have any scientific research that this formula can replace breast milk? The two work together? You achieve the same goals?
A simple answer would be no. Reason being, of course, hospitals, there's people also want, to benefit, they are looking for money. But then from my practice, Kawempe Hospital, like no one who was coming to advertise a formula milk was allowed inside the hospital. It's either breast milk or breast milk, like it was a must. Some hospitals, you go, you find charts, they'll be like, this formula milk, has this, it's so good, of which is not true. Because, like I said, the components of a breast milk can easily be broken down and taken up by the baby compared to the components of a manufactured, formula. So there is nothing that compares to breast milk.
Okay. Grace,
yes.
We talked about the foods that mothers can avoid, and you're the very person who say that some mothers have issues, especially with nutrition, what they eat, the dirty, they don't eat well, they don't have enough food. I mean, such things. What are some of the foods that are recommended for breastfeeding mothers? What should they eat? Actually, now that we looked at what they should not eat.
Actually, that's what I was also eating.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's more important. Yeah, so usually we encourage them to take foods like porridge. They can take porridge.
Which porridge?
They can take the white porridge of posho. However, most of them they love the bshera. It is called millet flour. Yeah, they like it so much. It boosts milk production, I think, in most of the mothers. Yeah, however, if it is not working for one mother, then they should shift it to either this white porridge, the one with what?
The maize flour.
Yeah. Then they can also actually mix there like these milk products that are on market. Yeah, however, there are many other foods that they can use and other ways that they can use to boost their milk production.
So can a mother, before we even leave the porridge, can a mother survive on only porridge for the entire day? Because we've seen breastfeeding mothers, they have flasks and bowls that they take. So does it mean that they can, even without food, they can survive on this?
Yeah, so for maternal health, now she needs to eat the local food. Yeah, they need to eat the local food. They can eat, sometimes you have food preferences. Yeah, but provided it's not refused to be used in a breastfeeding mother, and the mother is comfortable with their food, they can eat that. Because sometimes you may limit someone, but when they are okay with some food, yeah, so they can eat the real local food that we have here in Uganda or in other parts of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to eat the local food. Maybe you want me to mention some of the local foods. Okay.
Because when you talk about local foods and you leave it like that, someone will think that everything prepared within Uganda is local food. So chips and chicken is local food because it is locally prepared here.
Yeah, so people can, all mothers can eat matoke, can eat posho, can eat Irish, can eat actually millet. They mingle the millet.
The kalo.
Yeah, the kalo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the atape in some language there. Yeah, so they can eat that one also. Yeah, they can eat like some other high energy foods, but we do not recommend that in the very beginning. We recommend that after some period of time.
Okay. Especially
high energy foods are not recommended in the first week. Yeah, after giving birth. Yeah, we want the mother to rely on soft foods, especially the mothers who deliver by cesarean section. Yeah.
Chris, Bridget, I think you're the right person to answer this. Where did this thing of mothers who have just given birth eating offals come from? And why do they even have to eat offals? Because each time a mother gives birth, everyone will say, "Tuleta bienda." I mean, why is it important that mothers eat the offals?
Okay. I think that is a question. I think, like we had said at the beginning, there are always myths around certain things. You get, like, people have their beliefs around certain things. When you were practicing at Kawempe Women's Hospital, immediately a mother gives birth, the family comes in with Coca-Cola and Katogo. Yes, they'll be like, I know, you take this, it's going to help. So we went to Gombe General Hospital in Butambala district. When a mother gives birth, they come in with the vianda you're talking about, the offals. So it's more of, let me say, a myth that surrounds maybe a certain group of people believe in certain things. But what we encourage mothers to eat a balanced diet. Yes, a balanced diet, take enough, fruits, take enough drinks, and eat normally. We don't encourage hard foods, especially, like he said, for mothers who've been operated, in simple terms. Yes.
Okay. Now the other thing is, I think this is a question to all of us, but Grace will answer it first. How can family members help or support this breastfeeding mother?
Yeah, the very first thing is emotional support.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever there is stress to this mother, there will be no milk production. Yeah, because stress is brought by, I can say we have the environmental triggers, like in the community where the mother is. Yeah, and maybe within herself, she may be anxious about some things. Yeah, so we really need to first address all the possible causes of stress in this mother. Yeah, but most of the time it is due to the surroundings. So what I can say first, we need to offer emotional support to this mother. That is number one. Then we need to support her in the household work. Yeah, for example, for us when we are discharging mothers who have just delivered, we do not encourage them to work. Especially, I can say the very first 6 weeks, yeah, we do not want them to do those home activities because the mother can actually get other issues, for example, bleeding, yeah, which actually can cause death. Yeah, so.
But we keep on saying an African woman never rests.
Yeah, I've also seen one. I've also seen some mother who really had no one to help her for these household works. Yeah, but she had children and she could send them. Then where they cannot do, she does it. Yeah, so the family should support. Then we also need to educate the family about breastfeeding. Yeah, because they may think the mother does not want to do work. She just wants maybe to breastfeed, or they may not support her in breastfeeding because they are knowledge deficient. Yeah, so we need to educate them. Then the other thing that we need to do, or the family need to do, they need actually to support her, like, you know, sometimes the mother may not be aware of how to, like, latch or putting the child on the breast. Yeah, so sometimes there are those people like the mother to the husband or the mother to this woman who has delivered. They should always be there to support. Then they should always also keep away, like, the child for some time and the mother gets some rest because it freshens up the mother. Then she can again breastfeed when there is need. Yeah.
Okay. Bridget, which kind of support should be given to this breastfeeding mother? And how can the family members support them?
Just like Grace had said, mothers being human beings, we all need support, be it physical, emotionally, financially, and everything. Let's take an example of a mother who has to breastfeed her newborn baby, but on top of that, she has all the house chores that are awaiting her. Do you think that mother would continue breastfeeding? That because she's overwhelmed already, the baby will be crying, she has to cook food for the family, she has to go to the garden and dig. So if a mother who is breastfeeding gets support from the family members, they come in to help, help do the chores. Even if she does, of course we encourage exercise, but let her do the bare minimum so that she's encouraged to breastfeed her baby.
We've also seen, especially for us who are here, we see most of those on street. You see a mother with a very, very, very young baby, and they come on street to sell their merchandise. Maybe they're selling tomatoes or what. Sometimes they're like, wow. Anyway, you don't know the circumstances, you don't know what she's going through, so you can't really start judging her that, why are you coming to work? But I mean, we also have fathers that have neglected their roles. And when that comes, then the mother should take up. But we also have some mothers who are addicted to working. For them, staying home is a punishment.
No, you see, you could be saying, by the way, there is no one who loves working. Imagine we just wake up one day and you get everything.
Some people are addicted. That even someone who is given everything will say, how I wish I'm working.
No, you see, there are reasons as to why people do work. You find, exactly. So that is the reason you go to work, because home is boring. I go to work because I don't want to remain home and do all the house chores. You get, so I'd be like, I'd rather sit in my office and wait for that one client who is coming.
Yeah, maybe to supplement on that, somebody loving work does not really refuse them from feeding, like breastfeeding. Yeah, so
I think that there's a class of people we've not talked about. Now that someone after the 92 days they're back to work, how can they still breastfeed exclusively? Because the clinical guidelines say 6 months. How can they still breastfeed exclusively to complete the 6 months?
Okay, so at the workplaces, yeah, we really need to put those measures to support these breastfeeding mothers. Yeah, however, they will be, of course, operating out of what is meant to be. Yeah, they will be operating out of the normal. Yeah, but because they have nothing to do, they have to work in order to get support for their family. They need to work, but now at the workplaces, that's where we need to put the measures to support the breastfeeding mothers. For example, they can be given some break-offs, like is at work, maybe it's given some 5 minutes to go and breastfeed.
When you came with your baby at work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, then the other thing could be putting for them nice environments or conducive environments. Yeah, while at the workplace, that can really favor them to do their breastfeeding.
Actually, the National Planning Authority is really agitating for that.
Yeah,
we believe they will achieve it.
We really need to achieve this because we need to support these mothers. Then the other thing could be that most of the mothers who leave their babies at home and they go for work,
yes,
the babies become malnourished and they always lose weight. Yeah, and actually that means even their immunity is lowered, so they become much susceptible to diseases. Yeah, of course, the diseases may now become very hard to treat. Yeah, so we really encourage either to go with the baby to the workplace if it is possible, but if it's not possible, the baby is most likely to be affected so much.
Bridget, we have places of work that never accept babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, not because they do not want them, but I look at an environment like this where everywhere is electricity, cables, computers, what. So you realize that a baby is never safe. What can a mother in such an environment do?
You see, like we said, breastfeeding has its own challenges. So, you know, of course, we always have to work in order to earn something to keep us going.
Yes.
But then, now imagine a situation, of course, you know, they want to bring it into the policies, but then imagine a situation where you have about 50 women at your workplace, you're the employee, and all these ladies are breastfeeding mothers. And you have to give them 5 minutes of your time to go and breastfeed. Remember, we said
someone is a show
8
host.
to 12 times.
They have to, in the break, they have to rush and then breastfeed.
So would you think companies would take up such employees? So no. So maybe we could think about mothers expressing milk. Like, by expressing milk as like the milk, the breast milk, and then store it in a fridge. Or mothers who cannot afford, they just, you know, keep it in a clean container and leave it at home with someone they trust. So if the baby is hungry, the baby can be fed. Because there are some workplaces, sincerely, you can't take your baby in. Imagine a construction site. A brick can just fall and the baby is gone. Yes.
Well, I see we are running short of time, but I'll give each of you a minute to give us your closing remarks. I'll start with ladies first. I'll start with Bridget.
Yes, ladies first, where there is no danger. Thank you so much for all of you who've been with us. My conclusion is, you know, we are the mothers of the nation. Train a girl child and a nation trained. I'm from Mary Stewart, so that is always our motto. So if we really need to support our mothers and, you know, and all the ladies, you know, so that we close the gaps and the myths surrounding breastfeeding, because every child needs to be breastfed. We all need to be healthy. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Grace, what are your closing remarks?
Yeah, so for me, I would say that let me start with my fellow gentlemen. Yeah, I really advise them to provide always the safe environment to these mothers in order to manage their breastfeeding or to make their work easy. Yeah, then also to the workplaces, I think there are some policies already. Yeah, however, there is need to strengthen the existing policies and also to put up new measures that can really support these mothers. Yeah, then the other thing, I would be encouraging the mothers and actually teaching them and also advising them to go always for these, we call them postpartum visits, or after delivery, they need to go for those visits so they get to be educated how some of these things are done. Yeah, so they really need to seek for that special help on how to ensure they breastfeed well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much, Bridget. And to the entire team that we have worked with, thank you so much. I know we can go beyond this point. I've worked with Mumuza, I've worked with Jonah Jal, and very many other people out there. But from the entire team, it's a good night.
Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Together, we build strong, healthy, and thriving families with our daily dose of